My name is Sadie DJ, and I'm going to do part 6 of my experimental simulation report. The title of this one is part 6, which is how did the deal work out? I chose to do the merger and acquisition between Halliburton and Baker Hughes. I found this out whenever I was home last, and I found out that Halliburton and Baker Hughes were going to merge because of the oil field plummeting in Louisiana, especially in South Louisiana. Halliburton is facing antitrust issues on the Baker Hughes deal. That means that they're having problems trusting the fact them being Halliburton and the government being able to face the fact that Baker Hughes and Halliburton combining, they're relying on the fact that it won't cause a monopoly in the oil field business because it will cause it to be way too concentrated. Problem with this though is that a lot of the jobs that were a part of Halliburton and a part of Baker Hughes, a lot of those people have lost their jobs because of that fact that Halliburton can't afford to keep them on and Baker Hughes can't either because the plummeting oil field, which is terrible for Louisiana because that is what we have our livelihood about. To go on, Halliburton is facing antitrust issues with Baker Hughes deal. This is from Bloomberg. Halliburton has been having lots of problems lately with keeping themselves afloat. Seeing as how badly the oil field is doing, that would probably be why. The problem that they're facing is that it could hurt competition. Competition is a big deal when it comes to a business. And if you have too little competition, that means that therein lies a monopoly. And in the US, companies aren't allowed to become monopolies because that's just a part of our system. It's part of our constitutional system. The Justice Department of the US, their lawyers are worried about the oil services industry and that they would become too concentrated due to the merger. Now let me go on to explain who Baker Hughes is. Baker Hughes is a top-tier oilfield service company with a century-long track record. Baker Hughes delivers solutions that help oil and gas operators to make the most of their reservoirs. The reservoirs that they're speaking of are in the Gulf of Mexico and also at other companies where they hold oil that is taken from the oil industry in Louisiana. Baker Hughes has 53,000 plus employees in more than 80 different countries. 80 different countries, it's crazy. Because they go all over. They go to Africa, they go to Asia, they go to many different places because oil isn't just in a certain spot. It can be brought all over the world. The geomarket teams work side by side with customers to engineer reliable application-specific products and services that create more value to the reservoir, whether the application is deep water, unconventional hydrocarbons, or production and water management. Halliburton was founded in 1919. Halliburton is one of the largest providers of products and services to the energy industry, meaning that they're the ones that are mainly the ones drilling out in the Gulf of Mexico or in other countries because they create so much energy from the oil that they take in. Comprised of 13 product service lines, the PSLs operate in 2 different divisions. One is drilling and evaluation. The other is competition and production. The Halliburton and Baker Hughes merger, The rationale behind it is that the oil industry is crashing in Louisiana. With that happening, a lot of people are losing their jobs. Losing your job is a big deal in this economy because, in the economy of the U.S., because we are in a recession still somewhat. And that being said, it is terrible for someone to lose their job. That means that they can't have SNAP benefits, or they can't have certain things for their families. They can't take care of their babies or their wives or their older children and put them through college because they can't afford it. They can't do all of that. An acquisition of another company for Baker Hughes and Halliburton would salvage jobs and keep the companies both afloat. This being said, it could also be detrimental because with them combining, although they are combining to salvage jobs, they could also cause a lot of jobs to be lost because people won't be able to stay on at Halliburton because they won't get paid as much, or they won't have as many benefits, or something to that effect. With the shareholders in these companies, they will see it as a benefit because it means that their stocks would be able to rise, meaning that with a combination of the two companies, that with their stocks rising, it'll make it better for them. That means they will take in a bigger investment in the end whenever they want to sell their stock. Payments. Halliburton Company has proposed a payment to Baker Hughes at $34.6 billion for Baker Hughes. That is well enough money for Baker Hughes to be able to still function with Halliburton and to still keep themselves afloat. The only problem with this is that the Justice Department lawyers are still worried about that merger and the fact that the oil field could become too concentrated. With the oil field becoming too concentrated, again, it is a bad idea. That means that not many people will be able to find jobs other places, or that if a company wants to go with circle bar drilling, they can't go with circle bar drilling because Halliburton and Baker Hughes might make a lower deal for taking in oil for them, or something to that effect. It could be a big problem in Louisiana. Halliburton says they are going to sell some of their assets to other companies. This would be helpful for them because then the government officials wouldn't be on their backs all the time. It means that they wouldn't have as many assets on their side to make them a monopoly. The transaction that is going to happen in the end is wanting to hopefully be done by December of this year. That means they have a very short time period from here on out. They have about 5 months to get everything settled with the government, with Louisiana, and with everyone, and all the jobs and everything, to get them settled and finalized so that in December this deal can go through. There's a plan to carry out a legal challenge, though, if the government still is trying to halt the deal in the end by December. This legal challenge could be anything. Could be throwing a red herring out to the government so that they think, oh, well, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, and they might not. Who knows? But it could happen. And if the government thought about it, it would probably be a great idea for Halliburton and Baker Hughes to be together with their limits. They might put a limitation on who goes where and who can hire what employees and how low their deals can go according to other companies. That happens. I'm not sure what the government will decide, but I hope that Baker Hughes and Halliburton will be able to merge together. This would be a great idea for Louisiana, and it would help us out in so many different ways. So in conclusion, it would be a great idea for Halliburton and Baker Hughes to come together. I have references for all of the companies that I referenced in this PowerPoint, and I also have the article that I found all the information from. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed it.